Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. So what I have for you guys today is of course going to be another episode of the Championship Roundup. So in today's video, guys, we're going to be going ahead and discussing each game which did take place on the weekend in the Championship, and as well as that, we've also got some midweek score predictions to go ahead and go over at the second part of the video. So we've got a lot to go ahead and discuss in today's video, guys. We had a crazy weekend of Championship action, and so as always, guys, I'll be very interested to hear what you guys made of it all. And just before we do hop into any of my analysis, guys, I will include your guys' comments on screen now. So if any of you guys did successfully manage to get any of your score predictions correct this weekend, then I will include your comments on screen now. And fair play to everyone who did get a score prediction. I don't think any of mine were right this weekend. I got quite a few of the results right, but I didn't get the correct scoreline, if you get me. So it was a pretty hard one to predict this weekend, so fair play. But without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and jump into some of these games. So there is of course only one place we can start out. That is with Friday night's game between Cardiff and Wolves, and oh my word, this was just absolutely mental. So the first half of this one, it wasn't the best. It was quite nip and tug between the two sides. Wolves having more of the ball, Cardiff probably having the best of the chances. But in the second half, this game really went ahead and exploded. It was Ruben Neves who managed to give Wolves the lead with a fantastic free kick. He scored a couple of worldies, you know, in his times at Wolves, but that was right up there once again. Such a crucial goal for them, which gave Wolves the lead. After that, they did have the chance to go ahead and double it, really. Helder Costa had a great chance when he went through on goal. He just put his effort wide in the end, and towards the end of the game then, Cardiff of course were piling on the pressure, looking to get back into this game, and then in stoppage time, I don't even know what happened then. We were in the dying moments of this game, and then Cardiff managed to go ahead and get a penalty. You know, you think a guaranteed way to go ahead and get back into the game. It was Gary Medine who stepped up to take it. It wasn't the best penalty. It was on target, but even so, John Ruddy did produce a pretty good save from it. And then moments later, they went ahead and won another penalty. This time it was Junior Hoylett who went ahead and stepped up to take it. And surely you're thinking, they're not going to miss two penalties in a row. And he went and hit the crossbar, and then the full-time whistle went, and there was just absolute scenes at full time, really. Neil Warnock, it's fair to say, was not happy with Nuno at the end. He had quite a bit to say to him when Nuno went over to shake his hand, which was quite interesting. But even so, Wolves managed to hang on for what could be pretty much one of the biggest results of the season, really. That all but guarantees their promotion to the Premier League now. However, with Cardiff, Fulham aren't too far behind. Their next game was similarly quite mad, actually. That saw Barnsley go ahead and pick up a 3-2 home victory over Sheffield United. In this one, it was Barnsley who took the lead with a fantastic opener from Gary Gardner. He went ahead and ripped the net from the edge of the box. That was a great way for Barnsley to start this game. And then going into the second half then, Sheffield United did show a big improvement, it has to be said. They managed to go ahead with goals from Fleck and Leon Clark, two nice finishes from them. And then Barnsley get right back into this game with a goal from McBurney. A little bit of sloppy defending from Sheffield United, but even so, he gets them back into it. Then at this stage at 2-2, the game really is on a knife edge, and then Barnsley managed to go ahead and win it in the last minute with Tom Bradshaw popping up for them. So realistically, that could be a massive 3 points for Barnsley. Of course, they still are in the relegation zone. However, when you consider they have a game in hand on the teams around them, it's still in their hands to go ahead and stay up should they win that game in hand. So a lot to play for at the bottom. Sheffield United, however, a bit disappointing from them. They probably could have deserved the point from this one, but even so, this now leaves them 4 points off the playoffs. The next game was another one which I just did not see coming. That saw Norwich go ahead and pick up a fantastic 3-2 home victory over Aston Villa, and the opening goal from this game, oh my word, it was Josh Murphy who popped up with it with, without doubt, a goal of the season contender. He absolutely, I don't know how he did it, the ball seemed to dip so much. It was from the edge of the box, he jinked past a couple of Aston Villa players and then just bent it beautifully into the top corner. Fair play to Josh Murphy. He then of course had a hand in creating the second goal as well, which saw Norwich go 2-0 up. Villa in this one, they look far off the pace. Going forward, they didn't create anything anywhere near enough, really, and defensively, for the second two goals especially that they conceded, I mean, it wasn't good enough for a side who, you know, looked to be challenging for automatic promotion this year, of course. Jack Grealish, he got a goal back for Aston Villa, but that was never going to be enough when James Maddison went ahead and wrapped up in the the 72nd minute. So a lot more positive signs from Norwich in this one, but for Villa, they're stumbling towards the end of the season now, really. And our next game was a massive game going on at the bottom of the Championship, which in the end did end as a 1-1 draw. I'm not too sure how it did end level, really. Birmingham had pretty much the majority of everything going for them in this game, really. The chances they created, the possession as well. I'm not sure how Birmingham only ended this game with 1 goal, but it was actually Burton who managed to take the lead with a goal from Lloyd Dyer. After that, it was just constant Birmingham wave after wave coming at them, you know. They were having quite a few opportunities, but Burton, in fair to them, they were defending quite well. They were defending quite deep, you know, that has to be said, but that has been an attribute of them all season, really. And then in the 87th minute, it was Utd who managed to pop up with the equaliser for Birmingham. So a frustrating one that they didn't win it in the end, but this now puts Burton Albion 7 points adrift at the bottom of the Championship. And when you consider if they didn't draw this game to Birmingham in the last minute and they held on against Middlesbrough as well, they'd only be 3 points from safety. So it's such fine margins in the Championship at the moment, and things just aren't going Burton's way. This game then went ahead and finished as a 1-0 home victory for Brentford. In this one, there wasn't really too much quality on show for it. You know, Ipswich now are actually winless in their last 6 games in the Championship, so their season definitely petering out at the moment. I believe they failed to score in about 5 of their last 6 as well, so things going forward for Ipswich aren't quite ticking for them. You know, they had a few opportunities in this one, but nothing, they didn't really create too many clear-cut chances. In the end as well, it was a penalty that decided the game. A little bit soft, I did think, but nevertheless, Maupay managed to go ahead and slot that home for Brentford, which now sees them just 5 points off the playoffs. Our next game then saw Derby go ahead and pick up a quite comfortable, actually, 3-0 home victory over Bolton. Now, this game, of course, now leaves Bolton just 2 points above the relegation zone, and when you consider that Barnsley have a game in hand on them as well, and they're playing quite good football at the moment, Bolton fans must be, you know, looking over their shoulders quite worried at the moment. But in this one, it was quite a comfortable one. You know, Bolton left themselves with a mountain to climb in the second half, really. 2 first-half goals, 1 from Pearce, 1 from Vidra. I always think that when Bolton are chasing a game, you never really get the best out of them, you know. Bolton are always the best when they're making it tight at the back and then they look to snatch that goal. When Bolton are chasing the game, however, I couldn't really see them getting back into it. And then, of course, it was Tom Lawrence who went ahead and made it 3-0 to Derby in what was quite a routine victory. The next game saw Hull go ahead and put out a very convincing performance as they managed to put 4 past QPR in this one. QPR, another one of those sides which you never really know what you're going to get from them, but in this one, some of the build-up play from Hull I thought was absolutely excellent. The build-up play passing from back to front in this one, they were just going past QPR at ease, really. You know, it was probably one of the worst performances I've seen from QPR out of their last few games. You know, they've actually finished this game with no shots on target, which was a disappointment, but each goal that Hull scored was a credit to them, really, all of them nice in their own way, and that should now see Hull safe from relegation, really. I'd be very surprised to see them go down now. And, you know, Nigel Atkins, I think, has done a very good job at Hull, and that performance showed it. This game then went ahead and finished as a 1-1 draw, and I've seen a lot of Leeds fans at the moment who have been very frustrated since Paul Heckingbottom has come in, and I'm sure that continued in this game, really. A bit of a disappointment for Leeds to go ahead and pick up a draw in this one, and realistically, a point doesn't really do either side, you know, too many favours. Sunderland are now, of course, joint on points with Burton at the moment, 7 points from safety, so it really is going to take a miracle for them to go ahead and avoid relegation. In fairness to them, their performances have stepped up in recent weeks. You know, in this one as well, they did create quite a few chances, just nowhere near clinical enough. But in the second half, it was Paddy McNair who managed to put them in front with quite a nice finish, actually, into the roof of the net. Leeds managed to respond, though, with Pablo Hernandez, and Leeds actually went quite close to going ahead and winning it with a free kick from Seiss, which just stayed out in the end. I think it hit the post or the crossbar. But Barali also went ahead and picked up a red card for Leeds late on in this game, and overall, the formula that Leeds are going with at the moment just doesn't seem to be clicking for them. This game then saw Middlesbrough go ahead and pick up a 2-0 home victory over Nottingham Forest to go ahead and cement their place in the playoffs for the time being. Of course, Millwall just 1 point behind them at the moment, but in this one it was a pretty comfortable victory. Daniel Ayala popped up with the opening goal after 7 minutes with a really nice finish into the back of the net. You know, he's a centre-back, but fair play to him. He's got a finish on him, and he actually went ahead and set up the second goal then for Stuart Downing, who managed to go ahead and bury that attempt into the back of the net. And in this one, Nottingham Forest, they did have quite a bit of the ball, in fairness to them. They just weren't very penetrating with it. You know, they couldn't really hurt Middlesbrough and be as clinical as they could be. You know, since Karanka's come in there, he's made them quite a hard side to beat, but being 2-0 down after just half an hour, you couldn't really see them getting back into the game for this one. But even so, Middlesbrough, important for them to get back to winning ways with a comfortable victory. And our next game saw Millwall just continue their unbelievable form at the moment with a 2-0 home victory over Bristol City. And this, like I said, now leaves them just 1 point off the playoffs. And boy oh boy, they may actually go and do this, you know, and I wouldn't put it past them. In fairness to Millwall, they do have quite a hard fixture running from now until the end of the season, but with the way they're playing, I wouldn't put it past them. It was Jed Wallace who went ahead and opened the scoring for Millwall with a fantastic curling effort into the back of the net, and then Sean Morrison managed to go ahead and seal the victory in the second half. Bristol City in this one, once again, quite similar to Forest in the last game. They had quite a bit of possession, just weren't very penetrating with it. They actually finished this game without a shot on target and failed to really test the goalkeeper. So quite a disappointing one from their standpoint. You know, recently Bristol City's form, it has been dissipating. You know, some of the performances, I was quite surprised in this game that they weren't starting with Jeju. They actually brought him on for the second half, but even so, a disappointing one for them. Millwall though, at the moment, I have to applaud them. They're great. Now, next game saw Preston once again lose by 1-0, this time to Reading in what could be a pretty massive 3 points for them, actually, of course. With other sides at the bottom of the Championship winning this weekend, it was massive that Reading got something from this game, and it was Modou Barrow who went ahead and put them in front after just 12 minutes. Some horrific defending from Preston, it has to be said, you know. From what has been, you know, our defending this season has been our strong point, but lately, we've really not been helping ourselves, and that was just a goal to show it, really. In our last 2 games, we've conceded 1 shot on target, and we've lost both games by 1-0. That is just absolutely criminal, really, you know. After that, Preston had the majority of the chances and the possession, but even so, we just look toothless going forward, you know, at the moment. Surely Maguire was on the bench for some reason for this game, I'm not sure why, and recently, whenever Maguire has been playing, he's been playing as a winger. I'm not sure why that's the case. In my opinion, he needs to play down the middle, getting in behind the 2 centre-backs, but he's been playing out on the wing lately. He's not been that effective playing there, and realistically, it's not looking like it's going to be the playoffs anymore. We're now 6 points off. And our final game to go ahead and talk over saw Fulham go ahead and pick up a 1-0 away victory over Sheffield Wednesday, and now this really does put the pressure on Cardiff at the top of the Championship. So what I'd be interested to know from you guys is, who do you think is going to come second this season? Will it be Fulham or will it be Cardiff? Let me know down below. In this game, Fulham controlled the game for the majority of it, really. They had a lot more of the clear-cut chances in this one. Joe Wildsmith, in fairness to him, the goalkeeper for Sheffield Wednesday, managed to pop up with quite a few big saves, but in the end, it was Mitrovic. What a signing he has been, you know, a loan signing for Fulham this season. He was the difference in this game once again for them, and now they are just 2 points off Cardiff in second place, so this really could go down to the wire now. So guys, there were all the matches that did take place this weekend in the Championship. So in terms of my goal of the weekend, there are a lot of contenders this week, but I'm going to have to give it to Josh Murphy for his ridiculous goal against Aston Villa. And then as my result of the weekend, I don't know which way to go for this, really. There's quite a few contenders for it, but for me personally, I'm going to give it to Barnsley for getting that fantastic 3-2 home victory over Sheffield United. They came from behind to win it 3-2 in the end, and that could be a massive game in the relegation battle. So now guys, we will move on into my midweek score predictions. So we've got Aston Villa going up against Cardiff. This could be a huge game come the end of the season, and I'm actually thinking it could end as a 1-1 draw. Villa are definitely going to have to improve from that showing they had against Norwich. But Bristol City going up against Birmingham, I'm actually going to fancy the away side, Birmingham, to go ahead and pick up a 2-1 away victory. I've been quite impressed with them recently. Burton going up against Hull, I'm going to fancy it to finish as a 1-1 draw. That's what Burton have been doing a lot recently. Fulham going up against Reading, I've got to fancy Fulham for them at the moment. They're playing brilliant football, and I'm going to fancy them for the 2-0 home victory. We've then got Ipswich going up against Barnsley. Once again, Barnsley aside at the bottom, who's looking for a resurgence from now until the end of the season. Once again, they're playing quite good football at the moment. I'll back them for a 2-1 away victory. We've then got Preston going up against Leeds. Preston, I'm just not confident in anything we do at the moment, but I'll back this one as a 1-1 draw. We then got QPR going up against Sheffield Wednesday. I'll back Sheffield Wednesday to bounce back with a 2-1 victory. Then we have Sheffield United going up against Middlesbrough. Now, Sheffield United, they do have a very tough run in from now until the end of the season, but realistically that could be a positive for them. If they are able to beat the teams around them, you know, we could see them sneak into it. But that game I see heading towards a 1-1 draw. Sunderland going up against Norwich. I'm going to back Norwich for the 2-0 away victory. Bolton going up against Millwall. I've got to back Millwall. That time I'll say 2-1 away. Then we have Wolves going up against Derby, and I mean, with the Wolves character showing in that Cardiff match, I think that they'll just be riding high on confidence at the moment, and so for that game I'm going to back them for the 3-1 home victory. So guys, there you have it. That will wrap it up for this episode of the Championship Roundup. So if you guys have enjoyed, make sure you do leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you do subscribe for some regular Championship content. But apart from that guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.